All right, we should be good to go. It's Wednesday night, usual time, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. It's good to be back live again on a Wednesday. It's been a couple weeks since I've done that, but we've got a fun stream here tonight. We're just going to be hanging out, talking some draft, and playing some games. We've got some draft report cards to give out, right? We've seen all 3 days of the draft now. We've got a full sense of all these teams' draft classes. We've also got the benefit of knowing the moves they made in free agency, right? So we're just going to be checking in on some teams, just kind of not just the draft class, but off-season moves as a whole, but really focusing mostly on the draft, right? Just kind of checking in on some of these teams, how they've been doing. I don't know how many teams I'm going to hit today necessarily. I don't know if I'll go through all 32, but there's a lot of classes that I want to talk about, at least give some thoughts. And then once I switch over, play a little Wii baseball, you guys can obviously keep the questions rolling into. Again, just something for me to do, right? It's the off season, just kind of hanging out, talking ball. But you guys know the drill. If you're in here, feel free to say hello in chat. Looks like we got a few people in here already. We got Caden hitting the little wacky emoji. Look at that. Appreciate you tuning in. We got Riley Garcia in here. Welcome to the stream, Riley. Good to have you in here. Saying, how about them Cowboys? Hey, pretty good class, honestly, all things considered. There's been a lot of Jerry Jones washed talk. There's been a lot of Jerry Jones senile talk. But you got to give it to him. That man can still draft in the trenches pretty well. Overall, I thought the Cowboys class actually shook out pretty decently. You know what? I'll hit the Cowboys first when we dive into this. I'm glad you brought up the Cowboys. I feel like we don't talk about the Cowboys enough on this channel. Not a lot of Cowboys representation. So we'll hit the Cowboys class here first. I kind of like their class, to be honest. I thought they did a pretty good job. They had a lot of picks too, so they got some good swings in there. And we got Pear Champ saying, hey, Doc, how's it going? Great video, by the way. Appreciate it. Yeah, if you're tuning in, you may or may not have seen my latest video. Just came out a couple days ago talking about head coaches, play calling head coaches, culture coaches, kind of going against the grain a little bit, as I always like to do. I like to sometimes just sprinkle my own take into certain trends or whatever. But if you haven't checked it out, I recommend you go watch it. I appreciate it, though. Yeah, see, people seem to enjoy it. It's doing all right now. So certainly can't complain about that. And best of all, knock on wood. I just knocked on wood 3 times there, fingers crossed and all this stuff. But best of all, as of right now, that baby is fully monetized, which means I'm earning ad revenue. The bots didn't get me. The NFL didn't come in and make a call. As of right now, we're showing ads, we're showing mid-rolls. So it's pretty good. Certainly can't complain about that. We got Lemon Liquor in here. Welcome back, Lemon Liquor. Good to have you in the stream saying sup, Doc. Hey, you doing well? Did you enjoy the draft? What class do you want me to talk about? We're going to hit a few draft classes here today before we dive into some games. If there's any team's class that you want me to break down, which one would it be? And you know what? I'll hit that for you. Appreciate you tuning in, Lemon Liquor. And we got Christine in here. Let's go. Welcome, Christine. Good to have you back in here. Hitting me with a hello. Hello to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice little day out, right? Doing a little window shopping. Always fun. Weather's been nice. A little warm, but can't complain about that too much, right? But appreciate you tuning in. The Falcons. Hey, we talked about this last week, right? The Falcons need defense. The Falcons went defense. And we'll talk about the Falcons class too, although you might want to cover your ears for this. We'll see about the Falcons class. You might have seen the thumbnail. That might be a decent preview of my overall thoughts of their class. They got a few players I like, though. They did. But we'll dive into everything. There's a certain move they made that, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of, personally. But to each their own, and maybe it works out. Lemon Liquor wants me to hit the Patriots. All right. So the first 3 we'll load in the chamber here. We'll do the Cowboys, Patriots, and Falcons. There we go. Patriots. Yeah, hey. Talk about the thumbnail, too. That's a fun class to talk about right there. I think we're just going to get started, dive in here. Pear Champ likes the Giants or Raiders. I tell you what, we'll hit those too. But let's just get started. I'll switch my screen over here. You guys can see it all right. We've got the class pulled up on ESPN. Just going to run through some of these guys that they got. I'll be completely honest with you. I do not have a take for every single player, right? Unfortunately, I do not really have like a Johnny Cornelius take. So it might just be more, Cowboys drafting offensive line. Hey, they do a good job of developing late round talents. We'll see, right? keep your eye on him, but I'm not going to be like, yo, he's good at this, 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 and this. I won't lie. I haven't watched any Johnny Cornelius, for example, but we'll try and come up with a decent letter grade. You know how it goes, right? Everyone does draft grades. You know how it is. But we also got, and I hope I get this right, Saitama in real life asking, was the Rams not taking any DB a calculated move, or is Snead washed? Well, first of all, welcome to the stream, Saitama. Hopefully I got your name right. I try my best. Man, it's hard to count out Les Snead, is it? I didn't even realize that. That's kind of crazy to think about. They didn't go DB once. That is a pretty big need for them. Yeah, tight end, edge, running back, D tackle, linebacker, wide receiver. Well, hey, unless we trust, I guess, right? I mean, he's a hard GM to bet against. He did pull off probably one of the best moves of the entire draft with that trade with the Falcons. But that is interesting. They just straight up did not bring in any DBs. Huh. Terrence Ferguson, though, he might be a name to watch. You know how much McVay loves throwing to tight ends, and Stafford likes going to tight ends, and it's like Tyler Higbee, who's been the guy, and he's, if you can get a guy in there with some athletic upside, ooh. Be interesting to see how McVay could use an athletic tight end. So keep an eye out on him. That is a little bonus take right there. Terrence Ferguson. Anytime the Rams draft someone, they might be a demon. We got Andy B in here. Welcome to the stream. Andy saying, as an Eagles fan, I'm beyond glad to eat good again. Oh, man, you guys just have it so good, don't you? Oh, it happens every year, dude. Good players just fall on how he takes them, right? Not just Jahad Campbell, but Andrew Makuba. Oh, what a dog he is, right? Very, very similar to CJ Gardner-Johnson. A little bit of an undersized guy, but just such an attitude that he plays with. I love defensive backs like him. He's going to fit right in with Philly. Great, great picks. They just take whoever falls, man, and it works. BPA all the way. But welcome to the stream, Andy. Good to have you in here. Might have a few newcomers here, right? Recent video dropped. Few people might be checking in. If you are new, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. That's awesome. But let's just get started. Let's talk about the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Pretty good class overall. Ravel in round 3, one of my favorite picks of the draft. If you guys have been following me along throughout this draft process, Savone Ravel is a guy that I had my eye on as like someone that could be a surprise first round pick. He's had some injury concerns, but he's really, really talented. Super long corner. I mean, man, he can stay with guys downfield. He's got great speed. There's a little bit of an injury concern with him, but man, the upside of the talent is really high. I thought he could be someone a team like in the 20s could take a big swing on. He was someone I wanted for my team, the Vikings, in the first round. If the Vikings would have taken him at 24, I'd have been like, that's a big swing. But honestly, that's fine with me. To get him in round 3, I think that's great value right there. Great pick. Dallas could certainly use a corner. That was something I talked about pre-draft, right? Someone in chat brought it up. I can't remember who it was, but they're saying maybe corner for the Cowboys. Diggs has had injury problems. Bland has had injury problems. And that's another position that honestly they kind of draft and develop pretty well. So love the Ravel pick. Donovan Ezeraku, another one of my guys. Another guy I saw as like a first rounder. I had him mocked to the Falcons at 15. Pretty safe player in my opinion, right? He's not necessarily an athletic freak, but he does have some good athleticism. He does have some good length, but he's just so polished. He was so productive in the ACC, right? He seems like a great dude by all accounts. You ask like coaches and players that have like been with him, they say hard worker, right? He seems like a guy that could slide in right away, especially opposite Micah Parsons, and be a really good, like solid 8-sack type of guy. To get that in the second round, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then Tyler Booker in the first round. A little bit of a surprise, but, you have to remember they lost Zach Martin to retirement. The offensive line is shuffled around a little bit. And man, again, you might have to work around some of the lack of athleticism. He's not a great mover, but he's powerful. He's good in pass protection. And I honestly trust this organization to do a good job with these linemen. Jerry likes to take his linemen high, and more often than not, they hit. So I got to give it to him. And then Jaden Blue running back out of Texas, just a little bit more depth, right? He's got some speed on him a little bit, right? Just a little bit of a change of pace guy. They did lose Rico Dowdle. That makes sense. overall, I think this is a pretty good class, honestly. Riley is saying, woo, go Cowboys, let's go, woo. Yeah, I would be saying woo too, honestly. I'm gonna give the Cowboys an A minus. I honestly think this is a pretty strong class from top to bottom. They did a good job of addressing some of their needs, and I don't know, they played the board pretty well. Welcome to the stream, Wolf. Yeah, you did give me there. Hey, don't you worry. We will make this Madden matchup happen. Vikings versus Browns, and it's going to go crazy. Maybe one of these streams we'll get that. We'll get a Vikings versus Browns game on stream. How does that sound? But yeah, I've been lacking with that. Been ducking, running from the smoke. No. But appreciate you tuning in. We'll hit the Browns for you too. How about that? We'll talk about this Browns draft class. All right. So yeah, Cowboys A minus. Pretty good job, all things considered. All right, next let's hit the Patriots. Due to popular request. Let me see if I can find them here. We're just jumping all around. I won't lie. I'm not crazy prepared for this stream. Obviously, I went live for the first round of the draft. I was not crazy tapped in for day 2 and day 3. I was out of town visiting family, right? Just wasn't really watching it or anything. I would pull out my phone every once in a while and see who got picked and all that. And oh, Shedeur hasn't gotten taken yet, you know? But I wasn't crazy locked in like I've been in years past. So sometimes I'm still finding out new information whoa, the Rams really didn't take a DB, you know? But we're trying our best here. We're just going to hit a few. We're freestyling it. The streams are very different from the videos for those of you that might be new, right? Videos are very research based. A lot goes into them, very scripted. Streams is just kind of me just kicking back, drinking some water and just talking football, playing a silly game or something. But Wolf saying he likes the class, and for people not for criticizing the Gabriel pick, Watson needed someone to massage him on the sideline. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is a crazy quarterback room, though, for the Browns now. I mean, you feel like someone's going to be the odd man out, maybe. And we got Sebastian in here, too. Let's go. Welcome to the stream, Sebastian, saying, uh-oh, guys, I made a pretty huge screw-up last week. Oh, boy. Well, I'm interested to see where this goes. But Patriots draft. As you might have seen in the thumbnail, A+, I'm not going to waste any more time. This is probably my favorite class of the entire draft right here. I thought the Patriots absolutely crushed it. They came into this draft with a couple of glaring needs, but they didn't draft desperate. They still did a good job of letting the board fall to them. There weren't really any reaches, and they got a lot of players that I really, really, really like. Will Campbell at 4 just makes sense, right? You know what? Maybe he's not a tackle. I think you should let him try at tackle. I think he can be a pretty good tackle, even with his short arms. He's athletic enough. He's smart enough. He's seasoned enough. You know, he's played a few seasons now in the SEC. Tough assignments at LSU, always leaving him out on an island. You know, he's earned the right to try a tackle, and I think there's a very strong chance he's a great tackle. Even if you don't feel great, move him to guard, could be a good guard, right? There's a couple of different ways where this can work. You want to talk about Zach Martin? That's a decent comp for him, honestly. Zach Martin, highly touted tackle from a big-time school. Concerns about, can he actually stick out at tackle? Okay, Cowboys just move him to guard, and he was awesome, right? That's a crazy high bar for him. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Zach Martin, but we've seen a precedent. Brandon Scherf, another one, right? Even if you do have to move him from tackle to guard, if you have a good guard, you have a good guard. Washington's not no, I can't believe we took a guard 5th overall. The Cowboys weren't no, I can't believe we took a guard 13th overall, right? If you get a good player, you get a good player. Positional value matters some, but it's not the end of the world if Campbell has to play guard instead, because the Patriots need a left tackle and they need a left guard. Good pick. Travion Henderson in the 2nd, going and getting a back. You know, there were maybe some rumors that they'd be in on Genty, right? He was there at 4, but I like going line round 1, back round 2. Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, that's a pairing that just makes a lot of sense for a committee backfield, right? Henderson's a great receiver, great in pass protection, and he's the speedy guy. Also got that Ohio State connection, him and Mike Vrabel, right? And then Stevenson can be more the guy that goes between the tackles. Like that a lot. This is a Patriots offense that needs more explosiveness, and that's what Henderson gives them. Great pick, great player. My RB3 behind Hampton, but it's pretty close. And it's a deep class. I like him at the top of round 2. And then Kyle Williams, another good pick, right? Need wide receiver. Honestly, I never really sat down and put these receiver prospects in order, but I had Kyle Williams fairly high in my mental board, at least. I had him as a second rounds type of guy, honestly. I think he's a great player. Again, just adds a little bit of explosiveness to this offense, something that they desperately need. Very fast, and honestly, a pretty good route runner, pretty good separator. Comp you might hear from him some is Stephon Diggs, just younger Diggs. I don't hate it, right? You got Diggs there for a little bit, raise the floor of the receiver room. I like having Kyle Williams next man up behind him. I like that. And then Jared Wilson, center out of Georgia. Honestly, I say this as a UGA grad that watched a lot of Georgia football. I would say Jared Wilson was probably our best offensive lineman last year. Crazy athlete. A little bit smaller, but 310 isn't a death sentence at center. They have Garrett Bradbury there already. I think this could be an interesting camp competition. Jared Wilson versus Garrett Bradbury. I know they spent some money on Bradbury. I could see a world where Jared Wilson beats him out for the job. I think that's a good round 3 pick. And then one more I'll hit here, Braden Swinson, edge out of LSU, another big-time sleeper. Shout out Brett Coleman for putting me on Braden Swinson. Getting him in round 5. That's pretty nice. I don't know, man. This Patriots offseason has been pretty darn good. I'm kind of in on the Patriots a little bit. I like the moves they made in free agency. I like the draft that they had. I like the hiring of Vrabel. I like Drake May a lot. Sneaky second place team in the AFC East, maybe? I don't know, man. I kind of like the direction the Patriots are headed in here. I thought they brought in a lot of really good players and coaches this offseason. I'm going to give this Patriots draft class an A+. Absolutely. This is probably my favorite class. Sebastian said, I called Eric pretending to be a Vikings scout and told him we drafted him. Posted a video of the prank call on social media. I thought everyone would find it funny. Yeah, I too got prank called apparently. Not just Shador or Tyler Warren or there's a few others. There were more prank calls than normal this year. That has been a whole thing in and of itself. All the prank calls and everything. And you guys might have seen what happened with Jeff Ulbrich and his son Jax. The Falcons' DC son was the one who made the prank call to Shador. I mean, my goodness. And Shador's dad played for the Falcons. Crazy. But Wolf saying, oh man, the Browns off season, best time to be alive. Cavs are good. The Guardians are good. And there's hype. The Browns will be decent. Oh yeah. There's always something about the promise of next season, right? Hey, you never know. You never do know. But hey, how about the Cavs, huh? Cavs pretty good. And those Guardians, man, they always find a way. Hey, as a Twins fan, kind of, I like the Twins. I know a thing or two about the Guardians finding a way. My goodness. Sebastian saying, but now everyone is mad at me. They heard how hard Eric was sobbing when I told him it was a prank on the phone. Now everyone thinks I'm some kind of monster. No. Hey, it's all good. We got B Robin in here. Welcome to the stream, B Robin, saying ATL A-. Let's talk about that. Let's pull up the Falcons here. Let's find the Falcons here. We'll catch up with chat and then we'll dive into the Falcons. I don't know. I like some of the players they got though. That's what I'll say. And I'll say this, there are no Fs. I honestly think overall the NFL team did a pretty good job drafting this year, which is kind of silly, whatever. Just be in some room saying I think the NFL did a good job this year. But you know what I mean, right? I feel like overall there's a lot of strong looking classes this year. Teams played the board pretty well. But thank you for the super chat, Heroes F. Appreciate it as always. Oh my gosh. Hitting me with it again. Shador's dad playing for me. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Well, I tell you what. Okay, before we get into the Falcons, since you're in here and I saw your comments on my video the other day, I will tell the story of the Happy Gilmore incident. So, long story short, my freshman year of high school, my English class, I don't remember why we had to do this necessarily, but we had to do a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation on elder abuse. That was the topic. And we were supposed to include an example of elder abuse in like pop culture or literature, something like that, right? So I included the scene from Happy Gilmore where Ben Stiller's character is like putting Happy's nan out of work, right? And he's running the little quilt sweatshop or whatever, not realizing that there was a curse word in there. I didn't watch the clip or anything. It had been a couple years since I'd seen the movie. I just like embedded the YouTube video in there and we played it. And he said a curse word. And my teacher was like, whoa. And I ended up getting in trouble. I was like, I swear I didn't know. That was pretty funny. But that's the Happy Gilmore incident right there. There you go, Aerosef. Question answered. Anyone else that was watching my video was like, what the heck is he talking about? I don't know. I like to ramble sometimes, add in a little extra bonus stuff. But there's the Happy Gilmore incident. Sebastian saying, honestly, I don't know why Mr. Tiongsa was so upset. With his skill set at QB, he'll probably just be drafted by the Browns in a later round. Dude, facts. They got to get me out there, right? I got that quick lefty release. I'm a little mobile. I could get out on the run. No, I'm honestly pretty garbage at throwing a football. If I were going to play a position, it would definitely be tight end or something like that. I don't know. I could route people up. Surely. Obviously. That's why I'm doing this, you know. Caden asking a good question. 2024 Commanders season incoming. Talking about the Patriots. Ooh, if you want like a shocking team to make a deep playoff run, I don't hate that, honestly. I really like the moves they made this offseason. I think they do have a pretty high ceiling. There's just too many teams I like this year, man. I want to say they're like a sneaky playoff team, but I have about like 5 sneaky playoff teams. So some of them are going to be the odd teams out. But I really do like the Patriots offseason. They might be the most improved team in the NFL next year. I don't think they're picking in the top 5 again. That's what I'll say. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. They're going to be a tough out, too. They're going to be competitive. All right. Let's talk about the Falcons. So, I love the Jalen Walker pick at 15. Jalen Walker is one of my favorite players in this class. Again, high-end comp for him is like Clay Matthews. That's a crazy, crazy ceiling, right? It'll take a lot for him to get there. He still might need to be just refined a little bit more as a pure pass rusher. But the traits are there. The motor is there. I love his effort. And he shows enough, right? You see enough wins against like Kelvin Banks in those Texas games where it's like, oh, I don't know, man. There might be something here. And he's got that versatility where he can play off-ball linebacker too. Again, maybe not great in coverage, but great on quarterback spies and great on blitzes. Just a fun, cool, unique player. You can do a lot of cool stuff with him. I think Raheem Morris is going to do a pretty good job with him. And okay, if you're the Falcons, you got to go defense, right? Defense has been killing you for like 10 years now. James Pierce Jr. at 26. If it was just James Pierce Jr. at 26, okay, that makes sense, right? I think I had a mock to the Ravens who are picking at like 28, right? That range seems appropriate, right? And again, Falcons need defense. They need to get after the quarterback. Okay, you're taking an edge. However, and I don't want to kill them too much because I get like jobs are on the line and they know they got to improve their defense. And this is how, right? They couldn't be big players in free agency because of their cap situation. And they've got a few guys coming up with paydays soon. I get it. Oh, giving up a first next year, though. I don't know, man. That's a lot. And if you're the Falcons, you already have very minimal ways to improve, right? Giving up a first next year to go up to 26. Whew, I don't know. That is a very steep price to pay. I mean, shoot, if you're the Falcons, right? Like, I think you got a little bit better in this draft. But there's like a chance where they're like picking 11th overall next year, right? I think that's pretty fair to say too, honestly. It is a big risk. And I just think, man, Terry Fontenot, their GM, he's kind of drafting for his life right now. And if this doesn't work out and he's fired, poor next GM, man. Poor next GM. I don't hate the pick in a vacuum, but man, that was a big trade. And I will say, especially in the Falcons case too, they're a team with a little bit of a lighter defensive line, and they got rid of Grady Jarrett too. Oh, whoopsies. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up depth charts here. Right. This is something that really was talked about a lot on the Football 301 podcast. Honestly, I didn't even really consider it, but it makes a lot of sense. This is a pretty light defense right here, right? You lose Grady Jarrett, James Pierce Jr., undersized edge. Jalen Walker, kind of an in-betweener guy. He's not a big edge by any means. He's probably not even going to be playing edge full-time. Arnold Edebike, I think I got his name right. Small guy, right? Is a small defensive front that could get pushed around a lot in the run game. And they're in a division with teams that have really, really good offensive lines. I know that's like a very nerdy thing to worry about. Like, oh, maybe they're too light and the Panthers offensive line is going to manhandle them. But honestly, that is kind of on my radar a little bit now. All things considered, I'm going to give this like a C, to be honest. I just was not a big fan of the Pierce trade. And I mean, part of this is, well, they only have so many picks. And so like, there's only so much they can do. I do really like the Walker pick though. I like Jalen Walker a lot. I'm going to give them a C though. I'm not loving how much they gave up to go get Pierce. A prospect who I'm kind of lukewarm on. I see the appeal. I see the upside. Great straight line speed. But it's just lighter edge, and he wins with power. It's a very weird player profile. It's very unique. I'm not saying it can't work. It did work in college. But you very rarely see NFL players that are built and play like James Pierce Jr. It's interesting, but... We'll see. That's my Falcons take. We'll see. Oh, man. All right. I got to check up a chat here. We got a lot of messages I haven't gotten to yet. We got Parker in here. Let's go. The Wheeland Opinion is back. Welcome to the stream, Parker. Good to have you in here. Asking, are we going to get a doctor's way too early NFL power rankings? I like that idea. We might have to turn that into a stream. Now that the draft is done, free agency is done, starting to get a pretty good idea of how these teams' rosters are going to look going into next season. I like that. I tell you what, maybe in a couple weeks or something, we'll get a nice little way too early power ranking stream in. I kind of like that. I don't know how I haven't thought of that. There's the Wheeland Opinion right there. I appreciate it. We got Saitama asking, Saitama, I'm going to get it. Saitama in real life asking, Doc, do you have a favorite undrafted? Yours is Kobe Bryant for Atlanta and Short King Willie Lampkin for the Rams. Yeah, Kobe Bryant was a guy that was on my radar. It was actually Caden who put me on him a little bit. I was surprised to see that he didn't get picked at all. You know what? I'll give the Falcons that too. They did make a nice move signing Kobe Bryant as an undrafted free agent. I'll bump him up to a C+. How about that? They did bring in someone in the secondary, which they need. You know, I see they went 2 safeties here, but man, they need another corner opposite of AJ Terrell. Obviously, it's tough to kind of bank on an undrafted free agent to fill that role, but we'll see, right? He's someone worth bringing in and seeing if he can like compete for the job or something. So I like that move. That might be, not to steal your flow, but that one might be my favorite too. Parker saying the doctor mossed me one time. True story. Oh yeah, on his head. Yeah. I am not an athlete by any means. I do not consider myself an athlete. That might have been the most impressive athletic feat I've ever accomplished. Oh, man. Wolf saying he couldn't believe Shedeur fell. Is he a Brock Purdy prospect? That's not a terrible comp either, honestly, right? He might even be a little bit less athletic than Purdy, but I feel like he's got a similar type of arm, right? Again, Shedeur, very much a timing quarterback, very much a guy who's hitting these short and intermediate throws with accuracy, right? Doesn't have a crazy strong arm, but he's got nice touch on his deep passes. Let's just have the Shedeur conversation. We'll pull up the Browns here too, right? I said we'd hit the Browns. So for Shedeur Sanders, crazy fall, right? Him falling out of the first round, okay. I get that. I can see that a little bit, right? I didn't necessarily have a first round grade on him either. And then round 2 passed and he didn't get drafted. And I was like, okay, surely round 3, like someone will take him day 2. And then Dylan Gabriel got taken. And I was like, oh, wow. And eventually he gets taken round 5. Now, Am I surprised that he fell? No, but this far, yeah. Right? I mean, his big thing, I think more than anything else, and there's been endless think pieces about Shedeur at this point, his personality and all this and all that, whatever, right? The biggest thing I think that contributed to him falling, I don't know, is he just doesn't have a very high ceiling, and his play style doesn't necessarily match the tools all the time. It feels like he tries to create a little bit too much sometimes, right? Like, for him to be like a Jared Goff type of player, right? A Kirk Cousins type of player, a Jimmy Garoppolo type of player, there's nothing wrong with that. You can absolutely succeed like that in the NFL, right? A lot of teams could use that type of quarterback on their roster, whether it's a starter or a backup. The problem is, like, he still has like the longest time to throw in the nation. I mean, he's still holding on to the ball so long, and he's trying to make so much happen, and he takes bad sacks, right? To me, that is what got him out of the first round, second round. You know, he might have dropped another round or two because he didn't have good interviews or whatever, right? I don't know. I wasn't in the room for any of that. I won't pretend to know what was said in those interviews. But I think just from an ability standpoint, him falling to like round 3, okay, that makes sense. I will say round 5, that is a little crazy though. The Browns getting him in round 5. Honestly, that is probably one of the picks I liked more for their draft, honestly. Like, that's decent value right there. Okay, go for it, right? That was a crazy slide. We'll hit the rest of this Browns draft class here after we catch up with Chad. But let's see. Oh, I lost my spot. Wolf says, all I'm going to say is Flacco mentored a sliding QB. It ended up being Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Dude, I forgot. I suppose Flacco and Hurts did overlap in Philly a little bit, didn't they? I didn't even think about that. Hey, that's crazy. Next one up, right? Let's go Browns. Let's go Browns. Andy saying, I think the Pats win a wild card game this year, still 1 year away from being legit contenders. You know what? I like that. I feel like that's a healthy ceiling for the Patriots right there. Best case scenario, they make the playoffs and they win their wild card game. I feel like that's a great best case scenario to go into. Not saying it's necessarily going to happen, right? But it's certainly on the table. That would be quite the turnaround. I just really like their offseason. Caden saying, if one of those teams is the Jaguars, I'm coming in there and unplugging your monitor. Honestly, outside of Travis Hunter, the Jaguars didn't do a whole lot, which makes sense given how much they traded to go get him, right? But yeah, hey, we got the best player in the draft, baby. Hey, I don't know if you saw their GM James Gladstone's epic speech, but you know, they drafted Travis Hunter, and he's the greatest human ever, and the Jaguars are the greatest team ever, and we're about to see what's truly possible. I can't wait. I can't wait. That is going to be sick, though. I think it's so sick he ended up in Jacksonville. I love me the Jags. Sebastian saying, Wolf, you're much stronger than me. If I was a Browns fan, I would never be able to get excited for them. See, that's crazy coming from a Lions fan, right? My, how the times have changed. I respect it, though, right? Hey, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to hit when they finally get it done. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sebastian saying, now the 2025 Jaguars, that's a sleeper team to get excited about. For those that are new and might wonder what the heck, like, what's up with all this Jaguars talk, it's been a bit for a few years now that I get way too excited about the Jaguars. And then, well, you know, they're the Jaguars. I have a whole entire video a few years ago about how epic and awesome the Jaguars are. But their draft was all right. I obviously getting Travis Hunter is sick, but other than that, whatever, right? Welcome to the stream, Krempy. Good to have you back in here. Let's go. Appreciate you tuning in. What do I give the Giants? Well, let's go take a look at the Giants, shall we? Hey, we're taking requests right now. New York Football Giants. Overall, I honestly thought this was a pretty good class, and I say that as someone that wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of this, and I won't go into this too much. I'm sure you've heard every single possible Jackson Dart take at this point, right? Honestly, I think he's like a day 2 type of quarterback. I at least see some of the tools, some of the upside, but honestly, he's very similar to Daniel Jones, I think, in a lot of ways, in both his strengths and weaknesses, where he's like a decent athlete, like he could kind of move a little bit, right? And, if you get him getting that ball out quick, mixing some designed runs, like honestly, the offense that Dayball was running in 22 when the Giants made the playoffs, right? You can see the vision with that a little bit. But also like Daniel Jones, he kind of struggles to throw over the middle. He doesn't have crazy arm strength in some of his deep balls where he's trying to push the ball a little bit more downfield. Like they just kind of die on him a little bit. And he can just get a little flustered sometimes with pressure. Didn't have to face a lot of it given the offense that he was running at Ole Miss, right? One read offense, just get that ball out as quick as possible, utilize all that space. So that's going to be a big adjustment too. I personally would have felt a lot better if he went like round 2 or 3. But at least the Giants didn't have to give up a ton to get him, right? They didn't give up like a future first or anything. Okay, whatever, I still just think, man, life would be so much easier if you just moved on from your coach and GM and got a fresh start and you don't have guys fighting for their jobs with a new quarterback coming in. But whatever. I've talked about that enough. But other than that, though, honestly, some good picks. Marcus Mbao, round 5, steal. I mean, man, getting him in day 3 at a position of need, right? You know what? Yeah, this is the type of swing you need to take right here. He could turn into a good starter, You get a starter in round 5, that's great business right there. Cam Skattebo, round 4. You know what? Why not, right? Add a little bit more depth into your backfield. Loved Tyrone Tracy as a rookie, but you could always get another body in there. Pretty good receiver, honestly, right? Like you picture him being like maybe a Toby Gerhart type, where he's just like, I don't know, your average like college folk hero running back. But he can win on some routes downfield. He's a pretty good receiver. He'll get some snaps, and as a 4th rounder, that's pretty good, right? And then loading up on the defensive line, Darius Alexander and then Abdul Carter, man. I cannot say enough good things about this Giants defense. I think this Giants defense is going to be awesome next year. They're loaded up front. They made some nice moves in the secondary. Shane Bowen is an intriguing defensive coordinator. I think this could be a very fun defense next year. I think that could keep them pretty competitive, honestly. And yeah, if Dart doesn't have to play, to your point, Krempy, if Dart can sit for a year, that would probably help too. Ideally, I would not like him to play too much year 1. Now, if we're going to be realistic, let's be honest, dude. He's going to be out there. Maybe not week 1, maybe not like week 5, but let's be honest, dude. The moment Russ has a bad game or he like takes one too many sacks or just like, I don't know, his incompletion percentage just a little too low one game, right? Everyone's going to be calling for Dart. Man, he'll get in, I think. I wonder why their quarterback room is interesting. Again, they're another team. Like one of these guys is going to be the odd man out, right? Like why is Jameis Winston on the team, But well, I think we'll see him at some point. Not week 1 though. So if you can sit him for at least half the season, that would probably help a little bit. But I'll give the Giants, I'll give them a B+. And I say that as someone that is not a big fan of the Jackson Dart pick or trade. I will give them a B+ though. And they honestly had a sneaky good draft last year too. Hey, Joe Shane, you know what? He's had some whiffs, some misses. But he's had a few hits too. You know what? He's had a few hits. B+? Okay, there you go. Look at that. Great minds think alike. Krempy also giving him a B+. I like that. All right. Sebastian saying real ones remember the 2016 playoff Falcons defense. They became really good for 2.5 games and then forgot how to play football. I guess the Falcons still have free agency to shore up the D. I don't know, man. I mean, there's just not a lot of guys out there, right? It is tough. I mean, just the team they have, that's what they're going to be running out there next year. Could it be enough to win the South? Maybe. A lot of that is going to hinge on how good Penix is and how quickly these defensive rookies are ready to contribute, right? Because that's the way they can improve, really, is Penix being better than Kirk, and then like Walker and Pierce and Bowman being real difference makers on the defense. So we'll see. It is a very interesting season for the Atlanta Falcons. And I say this is someone that kind of likes the Falcons. I've got the Atlanta Coca-Cola shirt on right now, right? I've got strong ties to Atlanta. That's the place I plan on moving to and living at, right? I like the Falcons. I want them to be good. I am just a little, we'll see. We'll see. Cheddar Sanders. I'm doing a good job of pronouncing it. Let's go. Hey, appreciate it. Big fan. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. That's awesome. Let's go. You know, I have roots as a play-by-play announcer. That was what I wanted to do before I started doing this, right? So I've always been big on trying to like get people's names right, you know? So I that makes me happy to hear. Let's go. That's awesome. Cheddar Sanders. Andy saying the absolute ceiling for Shedeur is Drew Brees, but realistically, it's Teddy Bridgewater. Another great comp right there, right? Just think of like an unathletic quarterback that's like pretty accurate, doesn't have a rocket arm. He really is Teddy, honestly. I like that. You know what? Teddy had a good career. He was never a superstar, but he had a good career. Draft comp, Glorious King, Jared Goff. Pear Champs thinks it would have made a lot of sense if Sanders went to the Raiders. I was a little surprised about that, right? I mean, hey, he was Brady's guy. I know they've worked together a little bit. You have Geno in there, but Geno's, 35? You hope that he could be the quarterback for a couple of seasons, but it would, I mean, shoot, if you're the Raiders like round 4, I wouldn't have knocked him one bit for taking him, right? Just having that next guy up, right? You got to plan for future needs. But yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't do that. Or the Steelers. I don't know what the Steelers are doing with the quarterback position. They better hope Aaron Rodgers signs there. That's what I'll say. Seen enough. He's going to be the GOAT. I should qualify what I say earlier. I won't be able to have optimism for the Browns until Haslam is gone, Sebastian is saying. Oh, yeah. The Lions turnaround started with Martha Ford getting out of the picture. There's nothing worse than a meddling owner. Man, it is kind of tough when your owner is calling the shots. Hey, the Panthers, that's crazy. Are we going to talk about the Panthers now? They're a team whose owner was meddling, but then he agreed to like take a step back a little bit. And you know what? The glorious Panthers are at a decent spot now. They're in a decent spot now. What do you know? Oh, you liked my little disclaimer. Oh, that was awesome. Yeah. Oh, welcome to the stream, Nick. Good to have you in here. Let's go. I appreciate you tuning in. That's awesome. Hey, there you go. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Oh, yeah. Nick agrees with the Teddy Bridgewater comp. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Ball knower right here. But thanks for tuning in, Nick. That's awesome. Sebastian saying, I can personally report to having seen Roger Goodell wear a potato sack and fishing around in a dumpster for food. The NFL is so poor they need every nickel and dime they can get. Oh, I'm so sure. I'm so sure. Oh, we're going to talk about McMillan here in a sec. Oh, baby, what a spot he went to. Maybe not the Raiders like I was predicting, but what a spot he went to. Keep pounding, baby. The glorious Carolina Panthers were coming back for revenge. Oh, yeah. Yo, Dark Elixir's in here. Let's go. Welcome to the stream, Dark Elixir. Who dat? Saying, how you doing, Doc? I'm doing shucking great. You know what? After the Panthers, we will hit the Saints for you, Dark Elixir. We will talk about the Saints draft class. Tyler Shuck, one of the surprise picks. But you know what? I kind of see the vision. Just maybe a little bit. Just a little bit. I kind of see the vision. Paychamp saying, shout out to Teddy beating the Cowboys while playing on the Broncos in 2021. Dude, I forgot about that game. Oh my gosh. I remember just like following that game along a little bit because the Cowboys were nice that year. And I was just like, wait, why are the Broncos up by 20 right now? He went crazy in that game, if I recall. All right. Let's talk about one of my pet teams. There's another team that I just can't stop loving. That's the Carolina Panthers. What an offseason for the Panthers. Man, McMillan falls down to him. I mean, it's not a crazy fall. On the board at 8, Panthers need defense, but they could always use another receiver too, right? Again, a lot of teams could use a receiver like McMillan. Big-bodied outside guy, a little bit of slot versatility. One of my favorite players in this entire class. Bryce Young is ascending. The line is there. Just get one more receiver. This offense could be a lot of fun next year. This could be a very, very good offense. I truly think so. Love it. Love it. And then from there, they start to focus on the defense a little bit, right? They could use some pass rushers. They double up. Nick Scorton and Princely Unamanemilan. I think I got his name right. Scorton in particular is a guy who's kind of been a bit of a sleeper, right? He was really, really good at Purdue. Then he goes over to Texas A&M. They have him bulk up a little bit, right? Play a different role. Just wasn't really a great fit. The production wasn't there. But after his 2023 season, there's a lot of hype around this guy. There is something to work with here. If the Panthers can maybe get him back into his Purdue form, this could end up being a really good pick. I really wanted him to get Donovan as a Raku round 2, but Scorton's not bad either. So I like that. ETN round 4, okay, get another back in there, right? Unfortunately, this might mean Jonathan Brooks is cooked. I mean, they bring in Dowdle. Hubbard's really good, and they're drafting another running back. And then Jimmy Horn in round 6 might be a slot-only guy, right? He's pretty small, but honestly, I was kind of impressed in the few Colorado games I watched this year. I don't watch a ton of college football, but I did watch a few Colorado games. Obviously, they played against NDSU, right? Tough game, but what can you do, right? He cooked NDSU, but he's pretty good, honestly. For a 6th-round pick, I like that. Just get another body in that receiver room. I'm going to give the Panthers... I'll give them a B+ here. I'll be fair. I think, if they would have just gotten a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball, but I can't hate him for going McMillan. I feel like B+ is pretty fair, though. I like that. Thielen is going to somehow go for another 1,000 yards. Did he get there last year? Let me look that up. I know his first year with the Panthers, I mean, he was legitimately like the only receiver there, and he actually had decent numbers. Nah, he was at 615. He did have that crazy game against the Bucks, though. I do remember that. But Unk still got it a little bit, right? 34 years old. 615 yards, though. That's pretty good. But yeah, he just randomly had 100 catches for the first time since 2018 and 2023. That was kind of a funny season. But I will say, as a Vikings fan, it breaks my heart. Like, 15 years from now, when I want to like go relive the glory days and I look up Adam Thielen's Pro Football Reference, I'm going to have to see this on here. It won't just be the Vikings. Like, it's kind of tough, but what can you do? Same with like Eric Kendricks, right? Oh, do we really have to see the Chargers and Cowboys years? Sebastian saying on the other end, you've got Eric T. Youngson, the gazillionaire CEO of YouTube, pretending to be poor. We saw you order that cheeseburger pizza last week. We know how rich you are. Hey, it was a gift card. I was rich and gift card balanced. Oh, man. Nick enjoyed my video. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you liked it. Hey. I've loved the feedback I've gotten on the video. I haven't gone to every single comment, obviously. I'm going to try and respond to a few more once we're done here, but it really does make me happy seeing how many people enjoyed it. All the nice comments I got, all the support. Man, that was awesome. I do really appreciate you guys. That was pretty nice. But Sebastian asking, how do I feel about the Lions draft? Honestly, I kind of liked it. I know a lot of like draft grades that I've seen have the Lions as one of the lower classes, but I don't know, man. They prioritized interior again, right? This is spots that they just keep on reloading. They know their strengths. They know what they're good at developing. Let's keep it rocking and rolling. Tyleik Williams at 28, maybe seen as like a slight reach on like the consensus big board and stuff, but he is a player I kind of liked, right? He's very much a Dr. Pigskin coded player. Big defensive tackle that's just really good at collapsing the pocket and playing the run, right? He can, marinate a little bit behind DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil. They've had some injury concerns there, right? You can never, ever have enough depth in the trenches, right? I mean, the Lions of all teams should know this with all the injuries they suffered last year. If he's the best guy on their board, go for it. Knock yourself out. Definitely a very Brad Holmes coded player too, right? He's going to fit right in with the Lions. Same with Tate Ratledge, right? He's a bit older. He's been in school for a while. But he's just, I don't know, he's a pretty good athlete. He moves pretty well, right? All right. You've lost some guys in free agency, right? Kevin Zeitler out the door. Go get a guard. Sure. I couldn't tell you much about Isaac Tesla, to be honest. They gave up 2/3 to go get him, which was kind of surprising. This is... I don't know. I have to imagine they have a vision with this guy, right? Because that was a crazy trade. Honestly, on the surface, I didn't love the Tesla trade. And then from there, I couldn't tell you a whole lot. 2 Georgia guys at the end, though. I'll give the Lions like a B minus, honestly. I do like the Tyreek Williams pick a decent amount. The rest of the class is but also it's Brad Holmes, so I'm willing to give him some benefit of the doubt. I didn't love how much capital they traded though for that Tesla move. I'll go B minus. B minus. But who knows, man? And Brad Holmes we trust, right? Dark Elixir saying I'm a quality content creator. I appreciate that, man. Oh, like that's stuff I think about, you know? That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow. Kyle Rudolph, Giants legend. Oh yeah. He was there for what, 1 year maybe? He was with the Bucks for a little bit too, right? Kyle Rudolph. Saints killer. Let's go. Another Dr. Pigskin banger. I definitely feel like John Harbaugh never gotten the credit he deserves. Hey, big time fan of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, am I right? Hey, if I ever see John Harbaugh, I am going to go up to him and say, Fregley. Yo, John Harbaugh, Fregley, am I right? I should get him on stream and just like, that's the first thing I say to him. So, Fregley, you know who I'm talking about, don't you? The Fregley coaching tree. Me, when I'm mad at John Harbaugh. Don't call me. Don't come by my place. We're done. Sorry. Oh, man. I have too much fun sometimes. He's been in the league for almost 20 years, and the Ravens have almost always been in playoff contention, so I appreciated me covering him. Thank you. That's awesome. No, I mean, he is probably like a Hall of Fame caliber coach, right? He's got a Super Bowl ring, many, many deep playoff runs, and man, they just find a way to be a good team each year, right? They lose coordinators, the roster turns over, different quarterbacks, different levels of defenses and everything. I mean, he has been the coach as long as I've been a football fan. It is crazy how long he's been there, you know? And he's still doing his thing. Still doing his thing. Hit Harbaugh with the cheese touch. They'll get fired by the Ravens. Dark Elixir said, as a Purdue fan, Scorton is a beast. His form dropped off when he bulked up at A&M, but the dude lost almost 30 pounds pre-draft. Well, there we go. That makes me feel pretty good about the Scorton pick then. Yeah, he was really him at Purdue. It is just puzzling. I mean, you get the NIL money and stuff, but it is puzzling. Like, in hindsight, I'm sure he's kicking himself for transferring, right? He would have gone a lot higher if he just stuck at Purdue, but still will never forgive him for leaving a program with every other good player and coach 2 years ago. Did something happen? I don't know if there's just like a big exodus, like the NIL gates, Wild West opened up or what, but man. Sebastian says, has he ever asked anyone if they want to see his belly button when they're walking on the sidewalk past his house? I'm sure he has, honestly. I think he and Jim do that pretty regularly. All right. Is there any other classes I wanted to hit here? Oh, what the heck? What the heck? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? I lost them. Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. There's not a whole lot of time we need to spend on this, honestly. Vikings, very small class, right? Came into the draft with the fewest amount of picks of any team with 4. We managed to work our way up to 5. Demon Quasi at it again, right? Donovan Jackson, round 1, was not necessarily on my radar. A little bit of a surprise, but I don't hate it. I said this draft night, and I'm sticking with it. I like our line 1 through 5 now, right? You have to imagine it's going to be Darisaw left tackle, Jackson probably left guard, right? Kelly center, Will Fries right guard, right tackle Brian O'Neill. That's pretty darn good. Jackson has tackle versatility. He stepped in for Josh Simmons at Ohio State when Simmons got hurt. Jackson was actually the left tackle going up against Abdul Carter, if you go watch Abdul Carter versus Ohio State. And Carter certainly got his. But honestly, Jackson kind of held his own out there. He honestly played pretty good at tackle. He definitely should be a guard, but hey, the Vikings of all teams should know about injuries at tackle, right? Darisaw's had injury problems the past few years. O'Neill's had injury problems, and he's getting older. It's nice having not only a guy you feel good about plugging in as a starter, but if you need to shuffle around the line a little bit, which is inevitable, right? Injuries happen. You can do that. So I like that. And yeah, maybe they could have traded back and still gotten him, but I'm not so sure because it's kind of crazy how, as soon as Donovan Jackson gets drafted, The Texans, who also need offensive line, the team right behind the Vikings are like, oh, let's trade down. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe he would not have been there at like 30 if we traded back, you know? So I like just, if you like the guy, go and take him. You can try and play the charts all you want. Maybe we could have tried to get an extra day 2 pick or whatever, but he might not have been there. And the run on lineman kind of started up again a little bit. So I like it. Ty Felton, I saw this pick and I was like, I am going to be honest. I don't know a whole lot about this guy, but apparently he's like kind of similar to Jalen Naylor a little bit. Potential upgrade over Jalen Naylor. I don't hate that. Naylor's all right, but he's a little unreliable for me, honestly. I don't know. Just some bad drops. I don't know. He's not necessarily my favorite wide receiver 3. Wide receiver 4, I can get down with, right? It is an interesting pick, though. I don't know. I wouldn't have minded if we would have gone defense here, especially with how few picks we have. Like, I don't know how many targets he's necessarily going to get, right? I mean, there's already plenty of mouths to feed in this offense. But, hey, in Kwesi we trust, right? In Kwesi we trust. Other than that, I could tell you a whole lot about the guys we got, to be honest. We go edge, we get another dog. Hopefully this is better than Lewis Seen. But I'll be honest, I'll give us like a C+. A lot of it is just like, you only have 5 picks, right? There's only so much you can do. I like the Jackson pick. I would have maybe preferred defense in the 3rd round instead of like, maybe he's our wide receiver 3. You know, maybe he can beat out Jalen Naylor. But whatever. We made a lot of moves in free agency. There weren't really any emergencies that we had to address. So I appreciate that we could just, you know, as I say a lot, let the board fall to us. Play the board. See who's there. That's how you have a good draft right there, right? There you go. Caden saying, my tree chopping abilities are garbage. Is this a little Minecraft reference? Oh, probably, yeah. Yeah, oopsies. I don't know if I, like, left up some leaves or something, didn't get enough saplings. That is on me. Oopsies. 5 draft picks in 2025. Wilted flower. Welcome to the stream. Game solved. Let's go. Good to have you in here. Yeah. What can you do, right? What can you do? Pearchamp was surprised the Packers got 2 receivers, but the receivers we do have are injury prone and inconsistent. Plus contracts are coming up soon, so it makes sense. Just hope the Packers keep by Jair. How did I not think of this? All right, Pearchamp and Caden and any other Packers fans that might be watching, we'll hit the Green Bay Packers for you. We'll hit the Green Bay Packers. Right, draft in Green Bay. Matthew Golden gets drafted round 1. The crowd pop went crazy, right? I forgot who it was, but the guy going out there to announce the pick, it might have been Ted Thompson. I know he was like sitting out there or whatever, but like, for the first time since 2002, and you can hear like everyone go like, oh, receiver, and then he says Matthew Golden, everyone's like, yeah, you know, crowd going crazy. 2 receivers for the Packers. We might actually have a Packers fan joining us here in a second. Speak of the devil. We're back at Caden's place, right? Studio goes crazy. Internet here goes crazy. All right. I might have my headset in there. If you want to talk the Packers draft class here, we have a Packers fan in the flesh. And there's one guy in particular, I'm sure, that you really want to talk about. A receiver that they took in the 3rd round. Someone you actually put me on. You'll plug it into here. That's kind of awkward. We'll see if we can make this work here. Might have to scoot in a little bit. Bear with us for 1 second. I actually haven't hit the Browns. Dude, that's crazy. I literally pulled up the Browns and then I didn't talk about them. I'll get to them too. All right, hold on. I have to... Shoot, it's not set up. I need to add an OBS. I guess I got rid of the headset. No, not that. Oh, this is crazy. I can hear myself now in the other room. Where did it go? Okay. All right, try talking.
Test.
Okay, I think it's working pretty well. I'm just going to turn my head a little bit so it doesn't pick up on your headset. I noticed there's a little bit of double action going, but
Yeah, I can hear you.
yeah, tough. Uh,
Suck
anyways,
it up.
well, no, I don't know how to fix it necessarily. Actually, I do. Hold on. There we go. Is that better? She's like, sorry, dude, that's tough. All right, so for those that might not know, this is my friend Caden, right? He is, you see him with the wrench in chat. He's a big helper for this channel, big football fan, big Packers fan. We've got the Packers class pulled up. So I got to ask you, as a Packers fan, looking at these names out here, how you feeling? If you had to grade the Packers draft, what would you give them overall?
Overall, I'm going to give them a solid B minus. We got a lot of positional need, and I've come to learn to trust Goot, especially in the later rounds. He drafts really well for need. A lot of them seem like reaches at the time, but they all end up being like C plus players to B plus players. Like, it's not a whole lot of home runs, but not a whole lot of guys that I can really complain about. As far as the Matthew Golden pick goes, that's one that I've really had to convince myself of. I didn't like it at first. And honestly, aside from Travis and Tet, I didn't really have any true wide receiver ones aside from Jalen Noel, but that's a different conversation.
Huh.
So him being the wide receiver one is... I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of him out there. He was barely the wide receiver one on his own team. So the way I'm convincing myself that I like is it's a very big upside pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot that we haven't seen, so there's a lot that we don't know.
Yeah.
He could be way better than I'm expecting.
One thing not gonna lie, I actually completely forgot about until today, and I think it's worth noting too, right? Christian Watson is hurt, and he's a very big piece of that receiver room with his field stretching ability. Yep. This is a run-heavy team, so you got to have that guy that kind of gives you a little bit of space. I see the vision with this pick a lot more, and I think 23 is a decent spot for him. The Packers are a good offense for him. You know, honestly, I've come around on this pick a little bit more. I wasn't huge on Golden. I still don't think he's going to be like Tyreek Hill or anything. But even if he's not like a true number one, they just need another guy to take the top off the defense, especially with Watson out. All right. I got another question for you here. Another wide receiver question. Savion Williams. This was a guy that you were big on. You actually brought him up during my Wii golf stream. How you feel? What do you like about Savion Williams?
He's a taller Jaden Reed. The dude is just an absolute athlete, and I know there was some. He has some pretty sketchy drop issues, but I'm going to contradict myself a little here, but he's also known to make some crazy catches. He's had some really good contested catches, but overall he drops easy ones, he catches hard ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's, 6'4", right? I've seen him moss a few guys. Yeah. He is a lot of fun with the ball in his hands. Low-key, he could be an interesting returner, too. I know you guys have Keyshawn Nixon there, but yeah, he's a guy I think Matt LaFleur will have a trick or two up his sleeve to draw up some plays for him. They go offensive tackle in round 2, right? You know, they went lineman last year. Again, this is just an offensive line factory. Yeah, I honestly think this is a pretty solid class all around. Yeah. Low key, man. I think people are sleeping on the Packers a little bit this year. I read a tweet like a few months ago. You know, it was like, oh, there were so many crazy expectations about them. This past year felt like a step back, but they won like one more game than they did. They scored 60 more points than they did in 2023. Like, in a lot of ways, they did improve, and it's still the youngest team in the NFL. So they were pretty good. Krempy's saying Packers are his second favorite team. Glad they added some receivers. Okay, there you go. Yeah, chat's over here. It's a weird setup right now, but audio sounds good. Let's go. That's great to hear. Mark Murphy did announce the pick. Yeah, that was crazy. Game Soul said, if you don't have 9 picks, what are you doing? Facts. Dark Elixir saying, our coach left for Louisville and everyone with a shred of football talent and IQ jumped ship. We've beaten IU in our rival game for years until last year. We went from winning by 4 to losing 66-0. Yeah, I suppose it was quite the year for IU this year. But, okay, another Packers question for you while you're here.
Yes.
Parachamp was saying, just hope the Packers keep Jair. You think he's sticking around or no?
No, I don't think he is. And I voiced this concern, or not concern, but this distaste in the past with him. But I'm honestly not that big of a Jair fan. I'm just not that big of the showboating stuff, and that's just a personal opinion thing. I mean, obviously he's an amazing player, but I'm not a fan of the big in-your-face guys.
Well, Rob Demoski is saying he might be sticking around. We'll see. I do think. I mean, it seemed like a foregone conclusion. This dropped like a day ago.
How many years does he have left on his contract?
That's a great question, actually. One of these days, I'll type it right. There we go. 4-year, $84 million. They did give him a lot of money. 2026, it expires. So he's got 2 years left.
Okay.
But this year would be a potential out. Well, no, I think it would have been 2024, actually. Dude, Loki, he is sticking around on the team, I think. I don't know. They might have cut him already if they were going to get rid of him. But
If we can't find a trade partner, we may as well.
yeah. Sebastian's heading out. Appreciate you tuning in, man. As always, let's go. Glad we got to hit the Lions. But and after all, I am a millionaire tech CEO. So
Missed that part.
Oh, that was a great bit. Dark Elixir is hoping the Saints would draft a pass catcher above 6 foot. The 7-round tight end doesn't count. Well, I tell you what, we'll hit a few more classes here. We'll hit the Saints, we'll hit the Browns, and we'll let you pick one. What team would you like to hit?
Scroll. Let me see.
I'll have to go back this way too.
You already covered the Eagles, right?
No, I have not talked. I did a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I think you did a little.
I talked about Campbell and Makuba, their first 2 picks.
The Broncos?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, they had a spicy first round pick. All right, well, we'll do the Browns, Saints, and Broncos in that order here. Maybe Kirakat will get in here too. One of our Broncos fans. I gotta find the Browns. So yeah, I had the Browns pulled up.
I liked the Mason Graham pick.
Yes, you were a big fan of the Mason Graham pick.
Apparently
I think you're a little higher on the pick than I am. And I say that as someone that had Graham mocked at 5. I think for me, I'm just such a Travis Hunter head. I think it's just hard. Like,
I can understand that.
I just personally would not trade down and pass up the chance to take him. But given the cap situation the Browns are in, the biggest way around that is getting good, young, cheap players, rookie contracts. Okay, they gave themselves however many extra picks. All right, let's see how these picks turned out. They gave themselves plenty of shots here. This is a lot of picks in like the top 100, you know? So, but, I don't know. It's just hard for me to be like, But overall,
any of the legitimacy of this, but apparently Myles Garrett had a big part in.
He handpicked him, yeah. And I suppose that's got to go somewhere, right? And I mean, they gave the bag to Myles Garrett. They promised a vision and a plan for him. And, you know, we talked about this on draft night. Mason Graham's one big weakness is maybe he's a little too finessey, little too like, oh, can he win with power? Can he play the run? But if you've got Myles Garrett right next to him, you're able to kind of work around that a little bit. And I don't doubt that Jim Schwartz, their defensive coordinator, is going to have some nice plans cooked up for him, too.
I trust Myles Garrett's opinion.
Yeah. Carson Schweschinger started around 2. I think I got that right. He's a guy that's kind of a divisive prospect. A lot of guys really like him. Some people aren't quite as big on him. But I don't know. I think round 2... First pick of rounds 2, I don't think that's a bad spot for him one bit. The Browns need help at linebacker, Lord knows. They've got JOK, but not a whole lot else, right? Just someone else on that second level that you can count on, like that pick a decent amount. Harold Fannin. I don't know if you were a big Fannin guy or not.
He had some crazy college production.
He did. I mean, he's out here, you know, competing with Nick Nash for leading the FBS in catches and yards and everything. He's definitely not a traditional tight end, but with Njoku there, he's like low-key going to be an interesting fullback. He could be, if you put him in that spot at least a little bit, I think he could be really good. Like, that would be a better spot for him as a blocker. And he could be a sneaky good receiver out of the backfield. They'll put him in the slot some too. I don't think he's gonna play like traditional inline tight end a lot. That'll be
Not with
Njoku.
Njoku there,
Yeah, and I mean he's pretty small. I think at the combine he might have weighed like 230, which is really small. But he's like angry Mike Gesicki. That's kind of my comp for him a little bit. Like he's a little stiff, but he's kind of decent. I don't know. He's got a weird game, but I kind of like him. 3rd round, I feel like that's a decent spot too. And then we talked about Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why he went in the 3rd round, to be honest. No disrespect, but I'll give the Browns an A-. They got a lot of picks. And they have a future first for next year, too, which is pretty nice. I'll give the Browns A-. What are you feeling for the Browns?
Okay, I like A-, B+.
Okay, yeah. Pretty good draft. There you go, Wolf. Right. Grade for the Browns. We got an A- and A-, B+. Let's go. All
right, I think that's where I duck out for now.
All right, well, appreciate you tuning in. Joining in. Oh, let's go. I love it. All right, well, that was the Caden opinion right there. We're starting to get some guest segments in. Can't complain about some extra opinions flying in, right? Always fun to have some people show up in the studio. But we've got a few more teams to hit here before we switch over. We're going to play a little bit of Wii baseball. We're going to try and beat Sakura, the champion. We'll see how it goes. I have no idea if I'm going to have a chance or not. But yeah. I'm all right at Wii Baseball. We'll see. I have some fun. Parachamp said, I also hope the Packers don't go 1-5 in the division. Yeah, that's right. The Bears did beat them at the end of the season. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Swept by Lions and Vikings. Packers just had a bad record in big games last year. And it's not even like they got blown out in those games. Like, they played the Lions really well in that Thursday night game, right? Honestly, they played the Vikings pretty well in both those games. Just a lot of, like, close losses that just slipped out of their grasp a little bit. Eagles, week 1, dude. Like, they easily could have won that game, you know? Interesting, weird year for the Packers last season. I'm going to turn down the headset a little bit now so that it's not picking me up double. There we go. Johnny Football equals Shedeur Sanders. Very similar slide on it. I mean, Manziel fell to like 20, but that was the big slide of the draft, and now we've got Shedeur being the big slide of the draft. Oh, yeah. Parachamp is surprised Myles Garrett did a 180 once the money bag was dropped. Would have been cool to see Garrett on the Bills or Packers. Oh, Lord, dude, could you imagine? Oh, if he was like... And obviously, like, the Packers would be sick too. Dude, he would, like, win the Super Bowl for the Bills. He's, like, the one piece that they need, which, like, no duh. Everyone needs Myles Garrett. But they just need that tier 1 pass rush winner that can take over the fourth quarter of a playoff game. That has been what has killed them for years and years and years now, is they just don't have that guy. Von Miller was supposed to be that guy. Then he got hurt, and then that's it. He's washed now, right? Man, that would have been crazy. But I respect him sticking with the Browns, even if it was just the money bag being dropped, you know? I could still respect it. I am rooting for the Browns, all things considered. There's certain aspects of the Browns that I'm not rooting for, if you know what I'm saying. But overall, man, there's just one quarterback they got to get rid of, dude. Just get him off the team, bro. Like, why is he on the team? You know what I'm saying? But, all right, let's talk about the Saints draft class. Here you go, Dark Elixir. This one's for you. Who dat say they gonna beat them Saints? Here is the New Orleans Saints draft class right here. Kelvin Banks, round 1. I like it. You don't pick up Trevor Penning's 5th-year option. Ryan Ramczyk retires, right? You have an obvious need at tackle. Maybe you could kick him inside the guard, but again, just let him try at tackle. Why not, right? Kellen Moore, new head coach there, right? He knows a thing or two about the importance of a good offensive line. We saw that in Philly last year. And the Saints interior is honestly not bad, right? They got some good play from their line when they were healthy last year. It was only a few games, but the run game was kind of cooking a little bit. So I like just adding another guy in there. You got to get younger and cheaper at certain spots, just given your cap situation, how your roster is looking. So I like going Banks at 9. I feel like that's a perfectly fine pick right there. Tyler Shuck, round 2. Now this is the one that really started to get people going, whoa, right? Like them taking Shuck over Shedeur Sanders. Honestly, I think they're pretty similar. But with Shuck, he is a little bit older, and he does have some wacky interceptions on tape. There's no denying that. We've all seen the clip of him like tossing the ball like this and it gets picked off. We've all seen his one missed throw at the combine, right? He does have some hilarious low lights, but overall, he's a pretty good quarterback. There's a little bit of athleticism there. He's got a nice, strong arm, honestly. He does. There are some tools to work with here. But the downside is that he's just so old. I mean, he's like 25 years old, right? Second round, okay. He'll probably compete for the job, especially with Derek Carr maybe missing some time due to injury, right? If I'm the Saints, I still would have totally been fine with just like letting Rattler go out there for a year, whatever, right? You're in a rebuild. But at least you got a guy in the building. Like Shuck is probably like a high upside backup that could maybe win the job for a season or two. Second round pick, okay, sure. Other than that, man, Devin Neal, running back out of Kansas, he's a guy that's gotten a lot of buzz. Potential Kamara replacement. Okay, nice. There you go. Other than that, to be completely honest, I couldn't tell you a whole lot about some of these guys that got picked. I'm no Mel Kiper or anything, right? I don't have like too many crazy deep cut sleepers, right? I mostly focus on like the first 3 rounds. There might be a few guys that slip through the cracks. And again, I wasn't like super locked in on day 2 and 3. I was out of town, busy and all that good stuff. But overall, I'll give the Saints a B. I like the Banks pick a lot. I'm glad they didn't reach and take a quarterback at 9. I know that's something you and I were both talking a little bit about, Dark Elixir, and I can appreciate that. So I'll give the Saints a B. How about that? I feel like that's fair. How are you feeling about the Saints class? Which team's draft was my least favorite? Ooh. Honestly, I'd have to think about that for a sec. Least favorite draft? I don't know if I want to say that the Chargers was my least favorite draft. I feel like that is a little harsh. And this is so tough because I love a Marion Hampton. And I totally see the vision of him fitting in this offense. But getting him and signing Najee, especially given the free agency that the Chargers had, or lack thereof, the moves that they didn't really make, right? This is a team that got dog walked in the first round of the playoffs last year. They need a lot of help on the interior offensive line. They need a lot of help on the interior defensive line, really just the defense in general, right? This was a defense that really overachieved last year. They still only have one real wide receiver. And I just think, man, going running back in the first round when you've got all these needs and you didn't really make a ton of moves in free agency. I love Jim Harbaugh, and I don't want to question him too much, and I love his approach to the game, but I just think he's a little too high on his own supply with this Omarion Hampton pick. It's like, all right, bro, we get it. You like to run the ball. You guys are going to be a power run team. And I say all that thinking like, dude, if Najee wasn't there, I'd be like jumping up and down for this pick. Like, let's go. He's going for 1,200 yards. And Najee's only on a 1-year deal, but it's like, dude, why did $9 million have to go to Najee Harris if you're just going to draft Hampton? You could have brought back Poona Ford, and that would have solved a lot of problems, man. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest. I want to like this pick so bad, but I just don't. I don't. So I don't know. And obviously one pick doesn't define a class. They did get a receiver round 2 in Trey Harris, but I don't know. I was just a little disappointed, I think. That's a better way to put it. Bengals draft was pretty meh. Yeah, they, Shamar Stewart is someone who's just like, all right, let's see. Right? I'm not expecting a whole lot from him year 1. Hopefully you've got Trey Hendricks in there for at least another year. But yeah, they took a lot of project guys, right? Demetrius Knight, bit of an older prospect, but he's kind of a project. Dylan Fairchild, a project, right? They didn't have a lot of picks either necessarily. But especially with these first 2 picks, like less so with Shamar Stewart, but more with Demetrius Knight. It's like you're taking projects, but it's like, well, shoot, they kind of need to be good with the state of their defense, right? I would have liked maybe a Donovan Ezaraku here for the Bengals instead, just someone that's a little bit more trustworthy, someone I know for sure is going to raise the floor of this defense a little bit. But they like taking their swings, and we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm with you with that pair champ, honestly. The Bengals draft, not one of my favorites. Bears made some nice moves. I love the Loveland pick. Burden is interesting. I really wonder what the deal is going to be with DJ Moore here, because I feel like Burden and DJ Moore are very similar players. It's like, I don't know. Ben Johnson said something interesting in one of his press conferences, like, oh, everyone's going to have to earn their spot in this receiver room. It's like, DJ Moore had some issues with the Bears last year. That's something I'm looking at, just, a little bit. Like, okay, how much longer is DJ Moore going to be on the Bears? That's a question that's going through my mind. I'm not saying he's going to get traded tomorrow, but next year, is he on the Bears? We'll see how this year goes. That's an interesting one. They did get an extra second round pick, I suppose. They did wait a while to go defense. And outside of Montez Sweat, I don't feel great about their defensive line. Their defense is all right, though. I don't know. I'm not going to call this a bad draft, though. I do love Loveland a lot. And Burden could be pretty interesting in this Ben Johnson offense if they can get the ball in his hands a little bit. So I won't go as far to say, like, oh, this is a draft class I don't like. But let's see. Where was I? Dark Elixir would give the Saints draft a B for now. A lot of guys with potential, especially in the later rounds. We need an X. Have no clue how we didn't have any big-bodied receivers. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting Saints receiver room, right? You've got Olave. You've got Brandon Cooks. Is Shaheed still there? I don't know, actually. But yeah, there's no, like, true outside guy. There's no Marquez Colston walking through that door. You know what I'm saying? Shuck to me feels like Phillip Rivers. If he was 3 years younger, he'd be a top pick. Maybe this is Cope, but I think we're going to suck anyways. And I see the potential for a solid career for Rat or Shuck. Hey, I was a big Spencer Rattler guy myself last year. I have him on one of my fantasy dynasty teams. So part of me is like, no, just let us have the Rattler season, But Phillip Rivers, that is probably like his absolute peak right there. Like if literally everything goes perfect, that's like a good ceiling for him, not necessarily that he's going to hit it, but like absolute very best case scenario. Have I rated James Gladstone's masterpiece yet? I tell you what, I said we were going to do one more. We'll do Broncos and then we'll do Jaguars. I can't resist myself. I just can't resist. Broncos, Jahdae Barron at pick 20. Bit of a surprise, but you know what? They're building up the strength a little bit more. Man, this secondary is going to be nice next year. Surtain and Moss on the outside, Barron in the slot. Maybe you get him a safety a little bit. The rich get richer, man. They already add Hufanga to that secondary. They add Dre Greenlaw. This is already a top 3 defense by pretty much any metric last year. Oh, yeah, I could get down with that. Then they go back in round 2, RJ Harvey. Man, I really, really, really wish they got a Marion Hampton. But you know what? They go back round 2. I trust Sean Payton in this offensive line to make it work. The run game still was at least effective last year. It wasn't great, but given the backs that they had in their backfield last year, it was effective. Getting another body in there, okay, I can get down with that. Then they go wide receiver. I like that. Pat Bryant. Don't know a whole lot about him, to be honest, but I'll give the Broncos a B too. I just really wish they went Hampton at 20, to be honest. But I can't hate them for saying, hey, let's have the sickest secondary in the NFL. I just really wish they would have went Hampton there. Oh, Raiders had the best draft in the class. They're another team. I keep getting suckered into these other teams. But there is a lot to talk about, though. There isn't there. Raiders did have a good class. Genty at 6. Let's go. Maybe the best player in the class. Had one of the worst rushing attacks in the NFL last season. They lost Josh Jacobs. There you go. Get in a super high-level running back prospect. Chip Kelly likes to run the football. Pete Carroll likes to run the football. Makes total sense. Jack Beck, round 2, right? Oh, Lord, he and Geno could honestly have a decent connection, right? Get ready for a lot of drag routes. Get ready for a lot of mesh. Get ready for a lot of quick passes. Dude, he could low-key be a PPR sleeper next season. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. He's no Tetaroa McMillan, but it is nice to get another receiver in there, right? Hey, what did I say? Running back round 1, receiver round 2, or the other way around. Those are the 2 positions they were going to hit, and then they did. And then from there, just big swings on high upside guys, right? Darian Porter, Charles Grant out of William and Mary, small school guy, but he's a sleeper on a lot of people's radars. Cam Miller, how about it, right? Horns up, hashtag pro Bison. So yeah, that was a pretty good class, honestly. I'll give the Raiders an A-. This was a nice class. Jaguars, Travis Hunter. I think he's the best player in the draft. I really do. Wide receiver, corner, a little bit of both. There's just so many ways this can work. I've talked about Travis Hunter so much. And then from there, I don't know. They just got some guys. Tootin is a running back that I kind of like, though. I wonder how this running back room is going to shake out between him, ETN, and Bigsby. I sometimes wonder if ETN is going to be the odd man out a little bit, if it'll be Tootin and Bigsby going forward next season. I don't know. Something to keep your eyes on, but I think Hunter kind of carries this class a little bit. No shame in that. Nothing wrong with that. I'll give it like a B-. There's James Gladstone's masterpiece. Yo, I carried the commute again. Let's go. I appreciate it, Jack. Let's go. Perfectly timed Broncos coverage. Appreciate you tuning in. That's awesome. James Gladstone's masterpiece. We'll go B- here. All right. There we go. There you have it. We have hit some of the draft classes. We have given out some grades. I'm sure this will not be the last time we're talking about the draft, but I've been going on for a hot minute now, and I tell you what, I just can't help myself. I've wanted to play this on stream for so long. I've wanted to try this on stream for so long. I have been on such a Wii Sports kick that I am about to play Wii Sports Baseball and try and beat the champion Sakura. Let's go. We've got it switched over. We're going to have to adjust our camera here a little bit. We're going to be moving a few things around, but we're going to give this a try right here and see if we can beat the champion. Let's go. And as always, you guys could keep the questions, takes, or anything coming, and I'll try and, respond to your draft talk here while we're out here playing some Wii Baseball. We got to raise up the mic, and then we got to raise up the camera a little bit. I was practicing with this earlier, so we'll see if I can pull this off or not. But let's see. How is this looking? It's all right. We got to raise the mic a little bit more. Jeez. This is not my usual setup, if you could tell. All right, equipment timeout seems to be done. Hold on. Okay, so if I'm out here, I'm batting. This'll work. Y'all will be able to hear and see me all right, at least. We'll make this work. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. That actually looks decent. Let's get this aimed. Oh. I know this is exactly what you guys subscribe to this channel for. Let's go. Let's go. Dark Elixir saying he loves Travis, but struggles to see how a two-position guy can work out in the NFL. He uses number 2 behind Genty. I get that, right? It is going to be a big experiment for the Jaguars, right? Trying to figure out what works best, right? I almost feel like you got to go into year one just like, just trying out something new every game, pretty much, right? Trying to figure out the best way to utilize him. All right, we're going to move our chair a little bit more here. Things are about to get intense. All right, practice swings. I don't know how well y'all can hear me from here. We're gonna try adjust the mic a little bit more. Let's get it a little bit higher. Point it out a little bit more. This'll work. I might have to back up when I'm swinging. But Dark Elixir asking if I'm a GM, do I draft for need or potential? take that. A little bit of both, right? I obviously don't want to like neglect positions of need, but I think it's very easy to worry too much about what you need, and then that's how you end up reaching on prospects. Oh, I checked my swing there. That was terrible. That was terrible. Oh, here comes logic. Oh, that was a strike? I haven't swung at like 90% of these pitches. Okay, that was nice. That was nice. I'm a patient hitter. I'm so scared I'm going to crush the mic when I swing. Oh, we take that. We take that. Full count, baby. What an at-bat. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, we're going to adjust this a little bit more here. I just want this to be as epic as possible. Okay, here we go. Hold on, we might have cooked with this. All right, now I can actually make this work. All right. Let's see, I'm going to try and read chat here, get ready for a conversation for this next at-bat. Parachamp asking way too early prediction. Who do I think will have the first overall pick next season? He's going to say the Saints. I feel like that's got to be the most popular answer, right? Ooh. Ooh. I'll probably agree with you. I'll probably go Saints. I think some other contenders, I don't know. There's not a lot of bad teams right now where I look and I'm like, man, that roster's terrible. There's not a lot of 2023 Panthers out there right now. I'll have to keep thinking about that, honestly. Oh, here's Rick. We're drawing some walks early on. Sakira's not throwing us strikes. Oh, that was a strike. That was a good pitch. I could see the Browns, honestly. This is like a building block year for them. They still don't really have an answer at quarterback. Their receiver room is all right. You know, their defense could be pretty good. Oh, Lord, it's Aaron Rodgers. The Jets maybe, but like, their defense is still pretty good. And I like the moves they made on the offensive line. And I love Aaron Goat Glenn. Okay, we're not swinging at this one. We got Jack in here, too. Let's go. Welcome to the stream, Jack. Saying, Doc said Mike McDonald in the latest vid. Did someone say Mike McDonald? Dude, your comments are cracking me up. That was awesome. Oh, no. Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. Giants, I could see. Oh, I like that defense so much, though. See, here's where it gets tough, because once you get to the skill level, it's so hard to pitch to these guys. The fact that I didn't score any runs in the first inning is kind of brutal, honestly. You really need to score with these guys. Like, I don't think I'll get a single strikeout on them, although I am kind of cooking right now. All right. Off speed. Get a chase. Oh. Oh. Do I dare test her with a fastball? I got to throw a strike, right? I can't walk her. Oh, my goodness. That thing was smoked. Yeah. That's the hardest hit ball of the game so far. That's going to be a triple. Where's my left fielder? Where's my left fielder? Oh, Giants do have a bloodbath of a schedule. I mean, they're playing in a tough division, right? That's 6 tough games right off the bat. Yeah, I could see it. Oh, I like their defense so much, though. Is it crazy I like their defense so much? It's like, I don't think they'll have a top 3 pick, maybe. But yeah, they are in a tough spot. Neighbors is good. Goodness, yeah, dude. Oh, I struggled to hit in the first inning, and that could kill me right there. Game solved saying, if I'm the Titans and I get the #1 picks in 2026, what do I do? I'm firing people, that's for sure. I mean, probably not taking a quarterback, right? I mean, you probably trade down for whatever quarterback there is going to be that's going to go 1. We don't know who that is necessarily yet. Oh, welcome. I'm getting cooked right now. Just getting the cat. Oh, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, I'm getting cooked. But I would probably trade down, honestly. I mean, we'll see how Cam Ward looks, right? But unless he's like an absolute disaster, there's no way they would go quarterback. Please catch that. Thank you. Thank you. That's fair, yeah. That's fair. Their defense was all right last year. They were still bad. I'll give you that. I will give you that. We just need to get some outs here. Okay, okay. Get him with the splitter. No, no. There you go. Good play. Good play. All right, let's get out of this inning. Let's minimize the damage. Ooh, that was nice. Back door. Come on, get there, get there, get there. There you go, Dr. Pigskin me. Let's go. The Dr. Pigskin me making the catch. Let's go. Low-key, the Titans, that's not a bad pick for the first overall pick either. Honestly, their roster isn't all that inspiring. Let's go, John. Oh, that was there. That was the pitch for me to crush. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, they added Cam Ward, but not a whole lot else in this draft. I don't know. Their class was all right. Oh, I'm just missing some of these right now. Come on, get out, get out, get out. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go. They're back in it. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Oh, yeah. Come on, Dr. Pigskin. No, I should not have swung at that. For those that are wondering why there's a Dr. Pigskin me and I'm not using it, get out. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That went hard right there. That went hard. She's rattled. Caden's blessed. He gets to hear those O's twice. Oh! Now we're starting to hit the ball a little bit. Now we're getting in a groove. Oh! That was there. Get through. Oh, what a play by David. Good play, David. Mike McCarthy. It's Mike McCarthy. Shout out the NFL's meta. Come on, get out, get out. Mike McCarthy gives them the lead. Let's go, let's go. Oh, that was a nuke. Oh, we crushed that thing. If you're confused, just watch the NFL's meta. Little shameless plug right there. Here comes the star player. I can hear Caden going crazy in the living room. Come on, let's keep it going. Oh, that was there. I should have cranked that thing. Good take. Good take. Come on, get out. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Oh, we're on fire. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's keep it rocking and rolling. Come on, logic. I'm like, oh, God. Oh my God. Come on, get over. Let's go. We'll take that. Counts all the same. Counts all the same. I have never, ever beaten Sakura before. This would mean so much to me, man. Oh, Dwight. Okay, that was nice. Yeah. I just had to swing at that. What a play by Mayu. Oh, my goodness. All right, Rick. Let's get a few more. Oh, yeah. We'll take that. We'll take that. Oh. Santa Maria. Oh, what a play. I gotta respect that. Oh. All right. Let's work through Steve here. Oh, Steve. Oh, dang it. Need some water. I'm sweating an embarrassing amount right now. I got to admit. Oh, we needed a ground out there. Dark Elixir with some contenders for the #1 overall pick. Catch that. Good catch. Jets, Saints, Giants, Titans, Jags, Colts, Browns, 49ers, and Dallas could be. Plus the inevitable winner of the Injury Bowl. Colts? This is going to sound crazy because the Colts were like my team last year that I was all in on, right? I don't hate that Colts potential first. I don't know. I mean, I could see a world where just like they're definitely not. They're more talented than a team that would normally pick first overall. Could I see a world where things just completely bottom out there and things just go off the rails? Maybe 1 or 2 injuries and then the vibes are just terrible? Absolutely. 49ers is an interesting one too. I mean, they were kind of coming off a bad year. They could be an out there candidate too, honestly, with all the guys they lost. So we got to get Sakura out here. But I like the Colts as like a dark horse. Oh, we got her to swing. What a play by Dwight. What a play. Oh, that might be the play of the game in the field. Come on. Cowboys? I mean, if Dak gets hurt again, right? We've seen what happens when they get a little injured. Or if Micah gets hurt, then that defense kind of takes a little bit of a step back. Yeah. But it doesn't feel like a few years ago, it was like, man, the Cardinals are just going to be terrible. And we all know it, right? You know, 2023. The Lions back in like 2021. But there doesn't seem to be a ton of teams like that this year. Please, please. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's close this out, baby. We need some insurance runs here. I would not feel good about a 1-run lead going into the final inning. Sakura's sweating, and so am I. No! Oh! All right, John got us started. Dang it. They are kind of directionless. The Colts, way out in front of that one. What a take. What a take. Dang it. Yeah. Remember when they had Jeff Saturday as their coach? That was hilarious. Get out. Get out. Oh, it's foul. All right. All right, come on. Yeah. Oh, it's there. This is a big pitch. I was out in front. I was ready for the fastball. No! It's going to come down to this. Can I pitch around this lineup? That's what it's going to come down to. 3 outs wins me the championship. 0-0 to David. He takes for ball 1. David takes for ball 2. Come on. No! Oh, John, you needed to get that, dude. All right. Things start to get tricky. Oh, good pitch. All right. Come on. No, Mike McCarthy. He dropped the ball. All right. It's looking a little unfortunate. But we're just going to have to dig in and get through this. What a catch! McCarthy gets there for out 1. They are now 2 outs away. Steve, weak. Yes, 1 more out. Come on. It all comes down to Pierre. Ball 1. 0-1 on the way. Pierre grounder, and it's foul. Oh, you can feel the tension in the stadium right now. 1-1. Fastball outside, and he swings for strike 2. Now 1 strike away from the Wii Baseball Championship. Splitter. He got him! He got him! They've done it! They have done it! Let's go! Let's go! They have beat the champion! Let's go. Oh. I know this has nothing to do with football. There might be some new folks in here. Just, oh, you know, I found this cool football channel. I see this guy losing his mind over Wii Sports. But hey, we have our fun sometimes. Sometimes you got to switch things up a little bit. Oh, baby. We got the beat Sakura on stream. Big second inning propels us. It is huge. You get it, Pair Champ. That was awesome. Oh, man. I'd been waiting for so long to play this game on stream. I had been saving this championship game for a long time. There you go. There you go. Oh, I did not think I was going to close that one out. All right, we're going to switch back here to the main camera. We're going to wrap things up here soon. It's almost 9 o'clock, right? It's getting pretty late. But I'm going to be standing for the outro for the first time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all the nice words and comments on my latest video, all the support that it's gotten. Yeah, man, this has been a lot of fun. Draft is in the books. We're getting towards a weird part of the offseason now where there's just really not a lot going on, right? I mean, we have the schedule release in a few weeks, but not a lot of transactions now or anything like that. We're getting to the dog days here before we really buckle down for another season. But we're going to have some fun stuff in store. Don't you worry. We're going to stick to our Wednesday schedule, right? Try and go live once a week. Stick around Wednesday night. But that is all I've got for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for watching. Dark Elixir is going to hit the hay. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the draft. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And if you haven't already, go check out my new video. Just came out. And I tell you what, we're off to a good start with the next one already. I'm pretty excited for that one. So we've got some fun stuff in store, but I love you guys. I appreciate you as always. You guys have a good night. Appreciate it.